Welcome to this week's One Image My Edit. So this week I'm going to be showing you how to make a picture look like it was taken at night time and how you can add some light glare to this light here so it looks like the football pitch is lit up. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is come to my layers panel. If you can't see that, you can press F7 or go to window and then just come down to layers and then this will appear. So the first thing you want to do is come down to the bottom here and we're going to add a create new fill or adjustment layer. And we're going to select color lookup. So this is like a preset. How presets work in Lightroom. It's very similar to that. This is color grading, so it's a little bit different, but think of it as on the same line. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to select moonlight. So let's click that. We can add another one. So again, come up to color lookup and you can see there's a few different ones here. We can add foggy night as well. If we wanted to, we can bring the opacity down just to bring that effect down a little bit more. And let's add another one. So let's go to color lookup again. And this time let's add night from day. So this is really going to darken the image. So we need to come up to the opacity and just bring that down until we get the range that we want. So I reckon it's about there. About there. That will do. Again, we can come back and change this if we want to. Okay, so now what we need to do is add a new layer. So we're going to come down to the bottom here, come to the box with the square and the cross in it, and it says create new layer. Now what we're going to do is change the blend mode of this. So we're going to click on the blend mode and go and select color dodge. Okay. Then what we need to do is double click on the layer and it brings up the layer style icon, and we want to check off transparency shape layers. So we're using a paintbrush that is circular. So we want to uncheck that so that we can have a little bit more freedom and we don't want it to create circles for us. Then I'm going to come over to the brush tool up here. You can click on that or press B and then change the color to white. So you can press D for default or X to change from black and white, or you can click on these boxes here and this arrow. So I'm going to zoom in, just pressing Command plus just to zoom in, using the space bar just to drag around. So hold the space bar and then you can move it around. And then I'm going to change the size of the brush by pressing the bracket keys. You can see I can make that smaller and bigger. Opacity is at 100%. Flow is around 6%, 5%. Around there, that's good. So what I'm going to do now is come into where this light is and just start clicking. And what's going to happen is that this is going to create an almost overexposed look to the light. And this is what happens to lights. Obviously, when you look at them, they're very, very bright. So this needs to have a lot of light coming from it. So we need to click on it quite a few times. Now what I do is I click and drag, and that you can see there it starts to burn out the light there. So if we look at that, you can see from a distance, you know, that is how you would add light sources to anything by using the step that I've just shown you. So what I'm going to do now is just make the brush a little bit bigger, okay, and I'm going to click and just start playing and dragging this light towards out here. So I don't want to go too much, but it needs to have some sort of glare to it. Okay, so there we go. Now if you make a mistake, you can just go back and select the black color and that will start to fill in the areas for you. Okay, so now we've kind of done that. We've done the main light. Now we need to add the glare. Okay, so what we want to do again is come back down to the bottom here, add a new layer. This time we don't need to do anything to it. We just need to make sure that the foreground color is set to white. We're on the brush, and again, opacity and flow, you can keep that around the same. So now what I'm going to do is go over to the actual light and just start clicking. Okay, and you'll see that that will start to blend things a little bit better. Now I'm going to make the brush bigger because I want to be following you know, the contours of how the light will work. So it'll be quite big at the start, and then it will narrow down as it gets closer. So I'm just going to make that bigger at the top and just start following it down and make the brush a little bit bigger there, I suppose. And I want to try and pick out that penalty spot there. Okay, so this is kind of the glow. This is the glow of the light, and you can see it works a little bit different to the other one. So we come back down to this one here, which was the actual, you know, light source there. We can then kind of start to try and blend that in a little bit better. So just by dragging, you can see there we're starting to create a little bit more of a realistic look. So I'm going to come down and paint this area down here. Okay, and there we go. Now we need to do a little bit of fine tuning. So I want to come up to here and I want to blend this a little bit better here. Okay, and possibly a little bit more of a overkill on that area there. And again, if you make a mistake, just go back to the black and you can paint over it and it will start taking it away. Now I'm on that black, I'm going to use that. So I'm going to try and I'm going to make, well, I am going to make the brush smaller, and I'm going to start painting in around here. So I'm taking away anything that I've kind of done. And this is the reason why I'm doing this, is because I want to really select just that penalty spot there. Okay, so I want to make that the main focus point. So I can then do the same up here with this brush here, but what I want to be doing is using the eraser tool, not the black brush, because if I do that with that, because we've not changed the blend mode, we'll actually be painting black and not erasing the light source there. Okay, so just that's all you need to remember. So let's just get rid of some of the bank area here and around here. Okay, so we've got to try and think of how the light will be working. It wouldn't be hitting these bank areas around here, would it? Okay, that would be completely different. It would affect this area here, and it would affect some of this, but it wouldn't be as detailed, I don't think. So we can kind of start to take out a little bit there. Now we're kind of starting to get the shape a little bit more. I'm just going to start blending it at the top here. So I'm just going out with wisps of edits. Okay, so I'm just kind of using that brush as more like a paintbrush than a pen, and just trying to get this to blend. And the bigger the brush, the more you can do that with. Okay, you can really soften things. There. Okay, so now we've done that, let's go back to the first adjustment there and go back to the brush tool, select the black, and I just want to take down that a little bit because I think that's a little bit too much there. It's a little bit too bright. I could bring the opacity down as well and just paint a little bit of black in here just to help blend that a little bit more there. Okay, maybe take that down a smidgen more there. So now we've done that, we can then come back down to the fill or adjustment layer and let's select a curves tool. And this now is going to help us really define the contrast in the image. So we've got the blacks, the greys and the whites. So what we do is we click here, here and here, and this means we now are isolating. So I'm isolating just the blacks, and you can see there that I can fine tune that and really bring that down just to get that glow. We do the same with the greys. I want to keep some grey in there because I think if I take it too far, it's going to go too dark. Even though we want it to look like nighttime, I don't want it to be really severe. So just tweaking that, and then with the whites, you'll see obviously with what we've been doing, how much you can adjust that So it's all about blending. It really is. It's just all about taking your time with this and just tweaking it. Okay. So again, let's just get rid of that. I think I'd want to come back up to, if I click on that, I've deleted that layer there. You can see that's the light with just the adjustment that will burn things out, and then this is kind of like the fog sort of overlay, so to speak. I think this area here could do with being toned down a little bit where this tree is. So I'm going to push the opacity back up to 100%, and I'm going to, I'm on the wrong, there you go, press Command Z just to go back. I'm on the curves. I'm not actually on the correct layer. So there we go, I need to be on that one there. And let's just bring that opacity down a little bit more because it's a little bit too aggressive. Command Z, and that will take you back. Let's just take that and that down. And that, there we go. So there you go. That is how you do it. So again, it's not a brilliant edit, but for tutorial purposes, you get the idea. So what I would do, I would be concentrating on, you know, getting this as smooth as possible by bringing down that opacity and that flow, just to be really, really soft, and then just build it up. So you can see there, this would be like the kind of final stages here, and I think some of the light would be obviously going up and across over here as well. Okay, and probably down towards here as well. So you can jump between, you know, that and this layer here. So you can see there when I take that away, what's happening. So this is the actual bright layer. So if I double click on this, I said I was going to show you what it would look like without this transparency shape layer on. So if we click that back on, that's what you'd be getting. Okay, so that's why you can't do that with just a brush. You need to have both of these layers selected like this. So you can just have one without that and then one with, and it gives you this effect then. Okay, so it's a fairly simple process, but it takes a little time to master it, and it's all about just getting this light right. It's all about just really taking your time and blending it and making it look as natural as possible, and just picking things out that you think shouldn't be there and things that should be there. And the difference between the two layers is that on this one you can just switch back to the black excuse me, the black paint, and that will then start taking that away. Okay, so like up here, if I click there, it's going to start just dulling that down, where with this layer, the other layer that we created, which was just a normal layer, you have to use the eraser tool to get rid of that light, otherwise it will just start adding black to the actual image. Okay, so you can see there, look. Okay, so that's how you do it. It's as simple as that, he says. So have a play, but that is the best way to add light to an image, and how to make it look like a nighttime image. So it's quite good fun. I'm going to come back to the history here and just click on the camera and just show you a quick before and after. You see, you can see there that has given us what we were after. Like I said, this still needs a lot of work. And also, if you get banding that is like going on in here, so banding is, we can start to see the lines. If I zoom out, you can start to see these shapes here. So if you come up to image mode, and then you can change it to 16 bits per channel. 32 bits would be high dynamic range, so you want to be careful with that. I would stick to keeping it to 16 bits per channel. Okay, that will just help with the banding. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.